Guacamole! Sammy! Apprentices! Acolytes! We are back here at the Arcane Archive, and no doubt, I believe, from the title of this video, we are back indeed with another splendiferous, spectacular, fantastic episode of a long-forgotten yet beloved segment that we refer to here as MetaTalks!
We are back.
Subclass discussions.
We are back.
We are back with another subclass discussions, you guys. Can you believe it? Oh my word. I do believe that by the time this video drops, most likely, we will have a lovely, brand new, official kind of source book for you guys titled...
Oh, it's the Forgotten Realms Heroes of Faerun.
Heroes of Faerun, indeedy do. And for those of you eagle-eyed watchers and viewers here, you might be able to pick up on a couple of reminiscent or familiar individuals that appear on the cover, as well as maybe even inside the pages themselves. That's right, this book has a lot of connection to do with the recent Baldur's Gate 3 craze, of course. Many characters depicted there are also depicted in this book as well, which I also felt was kind of weirdly appropriate due to the fact that we currently have an ongoing playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. Hey, be sure to check those videos out. They're right there on the channel for you. They're absolutely spectacular. Give them a look-see. We admit we're going through a bit quite an interesting time with us, since we were he's playing on PC while I'm playing on PlayStation 5, and so we've been finagling with figuring out how to work with recording and cross-platform play, which is a really interesting experience. Be sure to come around for the fun and the lulls and the gags, because it is quite the journey indeed. But with that being the case, me and Sammy... Go ahead, buddy.
I mean, this is ostensibly the love child of 2024 D&D and the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide.
Very much so, yes. You guys are going to see some familiar kind of class. We said subclass discussion, right? So we're going to be talking about specifically 100%. In this book, in this video, about the new / revised or old or updated subclasses.
But if you remember the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide.
Oh gosh.
It was...
Most people won't, to be fair. Most people.
It was not a very good book.
A few little amazing gold gem. It was either really amazing. They had some of the most incredible, amazing things, or they had some of the absolute dog shit, bullshit, fucked shit. There was no between. There was no in between. It was one extreme or the other.
It was really funny because the original book gave me access to some of my favorite subclasses from back then. The Arcane Domain Cleric, which was not very good.
I mean, it was pretty decent. I always loved Arcane Domain.
It was the first showing of the Sun Soul Monk, the Swashbuckler Rogue.
Fantastic. The Blade Singer Wizard, y'all.
Blade Singer Wizard. The best Warlock, the Undying. It was the first time you could get something like Booming Blade or Green Flame Blade. It was a different time back when we really only had the baseline classes, these ones, and maybe if you were lucky at that time, possibly
Xanathars,
but Xanathars came after this.
It's true.
So I think when I first started playing D&D with my friends, this was the second book, the extra classes book that I had access to. And it was bad. I mean, it's not a well-written book. No. It is not the only thing it gave you some extra backgrounds and some extra subclasses, kind of. And it was a poorly written short book that still cost the same as a normal handbook. But this to me is a well done re-upping of that idea. The book itself adds a lot of obviously a lot of subclasses. We're going to talk about some of those today. It also adds backgrounds, a bunch of feats. It adds a bunch of
even epic boons. Uh-oh. We're having a little technical difficulties here, y'all. Hang on a second. I think my internet might be a little unstable here. Whoop. Oh, hang on a second. Hello, Sammy, we got you back.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, you did too. I think maybe my internet got a little unstable there. Yeah, my internet connection was unstable there. Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know if they're doing something or what's going on, but sorry about that, y'all.
No, it should be fine. But basically this book gives you like, maps and information about Faerun. Um it's got a lot of info in there. It's a fun read. You can tell they're definitely harking back to some of the older characters in D&D history from like books, as well
Classics. Classics.
as bringing in those new characters and stories from the Baldur's Gate 3 game, which a lot of people enjoy and love. So hopefully that'll kind of tie in some of those fans as well. I'm always happy to have more people enjoying the hobby. Um, but yeah, some of the subclasses are not that new. Some of them are reskins of old stuff. Um,
Some of them
but
literally have gotten just like little slight, like literally the smallest of tweaks that you might not even really notice that much, while others have had a complete and total rehaul.
yeah,
Hell, even a rebranding slash renaming. And we're going to go through four of them for you guys today. There's going to be a total of eight that they have here, and we're going to go through half of them now, maybe do another video for half of them later if really needed. Again, we'll see. But you guys should already know which ones we are planning on doing again from the title of this video. And that is, first off, the Banneret Fighter, which is essentially, just as we said, the
yeah.
rebrand of
Formerly known as
the
the Purple
Purple
Dragon
Dragon
Knight.
Knights. Yes, indeed. Clearly, very much so. A desperate attempt at a rebranding, and hopefully, from the looks of things, I mean, I'll be honest with y'all. As you already know, like, again, go check out those other videos we made about the previous subclasses. You will understand. But there's almost
Oh,
nowhere to go with the Purple Dragon Knight except for up. You know what I mean?
yeah. It was
There's almost no better way. There's almost nothing. There's no way you could fuck it up worse than that. I'll be
similar to
honest
the
with you.
Champion Fighter.
Yeah, very much so. It was pretty hot dog water. A lot, unfortunately. It had its, I mean, you're still a fighter, right? You're still a fighter. You're
Yeah,
still
you're
great,
still a fighter.
but you're a Purple Dragonite fighter, and that was kind of an embarrassment at the time. But it's okay. It's fine. They definitely made some improvements because it was only possible to make improvements. The second one up after that is we're going to talk about the Oath of the Noble Genies Paladin. Obviously, a clear inspiration from the Warlock patron of the Genie, which everybody really loved a lot back in 2014. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about that. And then the other two are going to be the Winter Walker Ranger, as well as the Scion of the Three Rogue. And with that being said, as always, if you guys like what we're doing here and all the stuff that we're trying to bring, please do be sure to like, comment on the video, subscribe, share the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss anything that's going on. As the usual housekeeping, thank you guys so much. We appreciate any support, and we're gonna get right into this right now without any more ado. Sammy, please do take it away for our first topic.
Yeah, we have the Banneret Fighter.
The Banneret!
Its little header here: rally fellow heroes with inspiring leadership. Bannerets
Huzzah!
yeah, literally. Bannerets are paragons of valor and leadership who protect the innocent and rally fellow adventurers to the causes of justice and freedom. Many are knights serving in Cormyr, the Silver Marches, Damara, Jacinta, or other lands across Faerun. They wander the realms as knights errant, taking the fight against evil beyond their kingdom's borders. A Banneret relies on judgment, bravery, and fidelity to the code of chivalry to guide them in defeating evildoers. A lone Banneret is a skilled warrior, but when leading a band of allies, one of these warriors can transform even a poorly equipped militia into a ferocious war band.
Indeed, this
Ostensibly,
particular, yeah, this
it's the
particular.
Knights of Cormyr.
It very much is, but it is nice. I do appreciate the fact that they all also are giving it a little bit more of like an umbrella kind of capacity, because obviously the Knights of Cormyr are probably the most like kind of famous and usually the most well known or talked about, but they're obviously not the only order of chivalric knights, right? This particular subclass now. And that's why also the Purple Dragon Knight kind of sucked as much as it did, because a lot of its benefits and bonuses that you could really get were only truly applicable if you were playing like a more traditional Forgotten Realms Faerun campaign in Cormyr, or even in the areas like that were around or
To
close
be
to
fair,
Cormyr,
I
like on
mean
the
they
Dragon Coast, you know?
and to be completely honest, Cormyr was one of those places that their knights kind of just went wherever they wanted to anyway.
Yeah.
They were the largest military force that existed on the Faerun Isle, ostensibly.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
they're well known for a military hierarchy and like stuff like that. So being able to take that idea and either put it in wherever you want to put it in a game, Because you could do that before, but it was harder. I mean, like if you
It
stuck to
took a
what the book
little bit
said, it
more,
was.
yeah. It took
This
a
is
little bit more finagling.
I think this is a bit more true to form for what you would expect that kind of knight errant class to be.
Oh, very much so.
To me, the what was it? What was the fighter that was like the rider?
The
Um,
cavalry,
yeah, the cavalier fighter.
cavalier. That's it. Yeah.
To me, that was the knight errant class. This is a non-mounted version of that I really do enjoy.
Yeah, very
Um,
much. Like think of it like this is the perfect subclass now for any player who wants to play that very traditional like honor chivalric knight
yeah,
character,
to me, they're
without
also a
having to
great
be like a paladin. You know what I
they're also
mean?
a great battlefield general type character.
Exactly.
I think it has some parallels to the samurai, in a sense.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the
So
Western version. Yep.
yeah. So starting out at level 3, they get knightly envoy. They know how to conduct themselves with grace as a noble ambassador. You gain the following benefits. Comprehension. You can cast the comprehend language spell, but only as a ritual. Charisma is your spellcasting ability for it. Polyglot. You learn one language from the language tables in the player's handbook or chapter 2 of this book. When you finish a long rest, you can replace a language learned from this benefit with another language you have heard, seen, signed, or read in the past 24 hours.
Interesting.
So it allows you to go into a foreign area and listen to people speak, and over that night, basically, you can learn their language. Which is kind of cool.
That's helpful.
It's a handy
That is one
thing.
thing about languages is honestly like unless your GM is a cool GM and lets you know a little bit like beforehand, like, hey, this is maybe the certain kind of species or creatures you might encounter. It's like you could literally just choose a language and it would be completely useless for almost the entirety of the campaign.
Well,
So,
it's nice too because you can. It's also if you've read it, so you are not useless on a archive or library run with your wizard or your druid or whoever else is going to
or
be
a
going and like
warlock, whatever.
doing weird creepy research. You are helpful. You can learn a language even if it's not a language that you would have had access to baseline from character creation. You can
Yeah.
walk into a dusty old library and learn abyssal as long as you have a rest.
Yep.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
um
That comes in handy, especially if again, if it allows you to almost tailor your fighter for the campaign's needs as you're going, which
yeah,
is
and
nice.
I do like it too because it to me gives the opportunity to like help other people in your party learn certain languages or learn
Yep.
certain things. You also get well spoken. You gain proficiency in one of the following skills of your choice: insight, intimidation, persuasion, or performance. This is just a little extra bit of hey, skill proficiencies are always helpful. I
Oh,
will
so
never,
much. We
I
will
will
always
never,
take more
yeah,
skills.
I will never laugh from that. The reality is, especially with the
Ah.
new backgrounds and stuff, you can get some good proficiencies even as a fighter. This allows you to not have to take one of these and widen your skill set even further, or already shore up things you're already good at. Say you're already good at lying, well now you're also good at persuading people
Yep.
or intimidating them,
Or
or insight.
performing.
I like
Yeah.
insight's a good one,
Insight's
especially.
always one of the best,
I
100%.
would argue this character is probably going to have a positive in charisma. Just you should, you're because that's kind of your whole thing.
Yep.
But I like the idea of more skills. We always like more skills.
Oh, I will
Um,
still die on the hill that the feat skilled is still one of the
oh, it's one of
best.
the better skills. One of the better
Absolutely.
feats.
Like,
Um,
absolutely.
and then you also at level 3 get group recovery. When you use your second wind to regain hit points, you choose a number of allies within a 30-foot emanation originating from yourself, up to a number of allies equal to your charisma modifier. Each of those allies regains hit points equal to 1d4 plus your fighter level. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Um, Again, fighter is not known to have a lot of, abilities like this. Um,
That affect not just yourself, but also your allies as well, especially. Like, obviously, every fighter has second wind. That's your innate thing. Luckily, though, this is actually very, like, the Purple Dragon Knight did actually have this same kind of thing originally as well, but it wasn't nearly, I don't believe it was exactly the same thing as
it was pretty
this.
close.
It's very close, yeah,
What I
but I think
do
they made
like
some bonuses to it.
What I do like is you can save this for when you have multiple people down, or people close to death, and it's not a lot of health, but if your second wind is a bonus action, so you can, in theory,
Bamf your people up,
bamf
and
a bunch of
then
people up, and then later on, because by the time you get to level 7, when you use group recovery, each chosen ally has an advantage on d20 tests until the start of your next turn. So you'll give everybody a little bit of hit points, pick them back up if they're down, and they get advantage their next turn.
this ability is
um
called Team Tactics at
yeah,
level
team
7.
tactics, and that's all d20 tests. So even if they're not up yet, it's not their turn yet. Say someone attempts to hit them with an area of effect spell, they have advantage on that
Yep,
save
everything.
and the attacks they're doing next time. So again, this not flashy. It may not even be that much health, but still, it can be
It,
very.
it, it can be a clincher. Like it can be an absolute, like when you're in dire moments, bro. And this is a 30-foot emanation. You know what I mean? That's not small. That's a decent size. We're literally like, think of it like,
30 feet in every direction.
you get a second wind yourself, so you're healing yourself for more, but all your friends around you basically just like, get up, everybody, rally now, and they just all kind of get like a little bit of that bonus, especially again at, let's even say again at level 7, right? So if you get 1d4, you roll a 4, that's plus 7, you're gonna get 11 hit points there, right? Not a shit ton, but also nothing to sneeze at, especially at lower levels. Like that actually is a lot at lower levels. And then on top of that, with team tactics, they immediately get advantage on all d20 tests until the start of your next turn. So you basically just give them like a ton of badass like defensive bonuses and buffs,
Yeah.
like, for a short time, but you can also use your second wind more than once as you get, I think, higher level. And then I think you get it back on a short rest.
But the
Um,
reality is, you can only use the ability once every rest.
yeah, once every short. So again, once every short or long rest.
Yeah, so that's not so bad. You could rest between fights and use it again. That's
Yep.
also good.
Yep.
Um, and then it continues this kind of 30-foot emanation from you, um, with the level 10 ability Rallying Surge. When you use your action surge, you can choose allies within a 30-foot emanation originating from yourself, up to a number of allies equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1. Each of those allies can immediately take a reaction to use one of the following options. Attack. The ally makes one attack with a weapon or an unarmed strike. Move. The ally moves up to half its speed without provoking opportunity attacks. That's,
That's
again,
pretty
I mean,
big.
this is still reliant on having a pretty good charisma. But even if you say you manage to get yourself a 16 in charisma, that's three
That's
people.
3 people besides yourself.
If you have other martial characters, this is really, really good.
I mean, hell, even if you just need to like try to move your friends around, like even if you have squishy characters like casters, right?
Yeah, that need to get
You have,
away.
yeah, you have somebody who ran up on them and they're kind of stuck in melee range or whatever. You can immediately just do this shit, action surge, and get them to run away half its speed away from the enemy, like
Mhm.
without provoking opportunity attacks. I mean, this right here, like again, I believe that the Purple Dragon Knight had something similar. Only a lot of this back in the old 2014 edition was you could only ever really affect one person at a time. You couldn't affect multiple potential. That right there is a game changer. The
Yeah,
multiple
as long as you have your
individuals
charisma up,
is a,
it's
yeah, that's a game changer, right? That's huge. Again, literally think about it like you're kind of performing almost like a a coordinated assault or attack on a creature or on a person, right? Where you can, because again, it makes one attack with a weapon, because it just says with a weapon or an unarmed strike. So meaning you could technically also have a ranger or a rogue shoot somebody. Like if they have a ranged weapon, you can still technically have them do that too. It's literally just a coordinated assault on a target or whoever they want. Like, dude, action economy's king. We say this just gives everybody, to be fair, they do have to use their reaction, of course, but still, the fact that they get this as a means of just doing so, like you're fighting just, a boss monster or enemy, like, you're literally just pin cushioning that thing at this point. Swiss cheese in that motherfucker. That's
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, I would argue, getting a Iron Stone of Leadership
Ooh.
would
If your
be.
GM is the fucking goat,
I mean, it's a very
absolutely.
rare item, but like by the time you get some of these items, that's pretty cool.
You'd hope. I mean, you
Um,
certainly hope. Again, like
yeah, I like that kind of stuff. But this is again, and it just gets better. You get up to like level 15, you get shared resilience. When an ally you can see within 60 feet of yourself fails a saving throw, you can take a reaction to expend a use of your Indomitable feature. The ally can immediately reroll the saving throw with a bonus equal to your fighter level. That's a plus 15.
at this point, it would indeed be a
The
plus
ally
15.
must use the new roll. So your
Oh,
wizard fails a save against disintegration.
you can just give your Indomitable,
What are the
basically.
odds? What are the odds that they're gonna fail again, rolling a d20 plus 15? That's
And
more
not
than
not
most
even not even
saves.
just 15, it's a bonus. So it's whatever their con
Yeah,
save or their deck
plus
save is
plus
plus
your
your
fighter level.
bonus. So
That's
most
pretty damn
likely
good.
at this point, yeah, like that it'll be at minimum 15 if not like, higher. Hopefully they don't have a negative in whatever
Yeah.
it is. But still, it'll probably at the very least be a plus 15, which is kind of fucking nuts. It's not impossible for them to fail if they have no
No,
bonuses.
no. But
But
this is pretty good.
it
And
is,
like,
I mean, it's huge. Being able to give your friends your Indomitable is an absolutely busted feature at this point. In 2024, for the fighter, it's a fucking busted ability. It's nuts. The shit, like again, that bonus is phenomenal, bro. And we love that too, because obviously I feel like, yeah, a lot of classes did kind of get screwed over when it came to saving throws. Like aside from like again, there's the ones that they were already automatically proficient in from the start, right? Otherwise, it was super fucking hard. You either had to get fucking resilient, which you could only ever take once. I technically think at some point. And then you only ever had like fucking classes like the Paladin who could give everybody bonuses to all of their like saves, or you'd have like the monk at a really high level would get bonuses to all of their saves themselves, or you'd have like certain subclasses that might give you certain saves that were good, but it was always like getting certain things like with certain classes, and it was like they were always going to have like a very specific save that was just going to be garbage. But with this, no matter what it is, they gotta, especially at this level, and you're gonna be fighting a lot of things that will be exceedingly deadly at this level. It is amazing to be for a fighter to be able to share their indomitable, their busted ass ability with their friends. That's amazing.
yeah.
Um,
And then it again, you're just adding more onto it at this point. At level 18 with an inspiring commander, you gain the following benefits:
bolstered,
bolstered rally. The area of effect for both group recovery and rallying surge is now a 60-foot emanation.
just more coverage, baby.
And unshakable bravery. You have immunity to the charmed and frightened conditions. Now, again, is it flashy? No. But hey,
As
can I
an
tell you something?
18th level
Can I tell you
capstone
something?
ability,
Can I
like
tell you something? Charmed and frightened suck
they do,
every time.
they very much do.
Every time they suck so
They
bad.
are not they are
And
not
and
cool.
like it doesn't feel bad when you don't get hit by it until you get hit by it, and then it's really not fun.
Yep.
So, for me, I
Just
actually
not
really
even
like.
having to worry about that.
No, you're just like they'll be like, "Hey, can you make us?" And I'm like, "No, I can't be frightened."
You also have to take into consideration as well that there are a myriad of spells that do also specifically rely on
Charmed or frightened.
inflicting charm and frightened. So that means effectively at level 18, you would become immune to such spells as Charm Person or, Gesh or
Fear,
fear, like even a dragon's, automatic fear aura.
suggestion.
I don't know if suggestion is charm or not, but either way, things of that nature. You couldn't be controlled by a vampire. You could be charmed by a vampire, like or a succubus or incubus. There are many things that are
To
like,
me, it's a
hey,
bolstering of your morals even further, and I
yeah,
like this as a flavor. Um, as opposed to the barbarians version of it where they're just so angry it doesn't matter.
yep.
Your will is just so
Your
set in
honor,
stone. You're
yeah,
you're so
you're so chivalrous, okay?
yeah.
You are the chivalrous. You are the most chivalrous motherfucker here. You
Ever.
cannot be broken. You cannot be swayed. You cannot be frightened. You will always uphold the honor and code of your order and your people. You know, like
Yeah.
it is pretty cool. Like again, as Semi said, not the flashiest. As a 18th level capstone, no, it's not like monumentally world shattering or earth breaking. But it is definitely, as he also said, incredibly well done. Like in terms of just like for the theme of this subclass, works very well, and it does have a lot of use for for plenty of situations and monsters and creatures and spells. So that I do believe that is the totality of the new Banneret fighter subclass. The I guess at this point we should say the ironic big brother, the much more beloved big brother probably of the oh so unfortunate Purple Dragon Knight. We thank you, Purple Dragon Knight, for all of your service. But go ahead and move over. Let Big Bro Banneret take over from here. You did your world, King. All right, sit down. Uh, but with that, I do believe that we have our next one up on the docket, my friends. This one does look quite interesting indeed. This is, of course, the Oath of the Noble Genies Paladin. We're gonna stay in the same similar vein as these kind of knights and rather powerful, heavily armored individuals with this one. You may brandish the elemental splendor of the genies. Paladins sworn to the oath of the noble genies revere the forces of the elemental planes. Through taking this oath, paladins draw power from the four different types of genies: the Tao, masters of earth; the Jinn, masters of air; the Ifrit, the masters of fire; and last but not least, the Marids, masters of water. In Faerun, many paladins who swear this oath hail from Kalimshan, a land teeming with genies. Paladins who swear this oath often undertake quests that take them all over the realms and across the multiverse itself, including the elemental planes. These paladins share the following tenets: sow the seeds of creation amid the ashes of destruction, lead with splendor and grace always, and respect the elements and fear their wrath. Again, that's just badass as fuck. Let's be honest here, okay? Who doesn't fucking love genies? You know what I mean? To be fair, most of the genies in D&D are actual, like, kind of real fucked up assholes, to be fair. Like, literally all of them, except for the Jinn, the air genies, are all actually kind of evil douchebags. I'm not gonna lie. Most of the time. They enslave other races. They hate each other. They're pretty tyrannical and bad. But the genie are just actually kind of real cool, chill guys. They love kind of pranks.
Well,
They love kind of. I mean, they are like
uh,
they're not like evil.
historically speaking, they're not genies. All of the genie, like Jin, Dao,
Well, the Jinn,
Marids,
the
and
Jinn
Ifrits,
specifically.
over the course of history, especially in Kalimshan, were not always good because a lot of them enslaved a lot of the people who built Kalimshan.
Yeah.
And it's this back and forth power struggle of like we fought with them on our side, we fought under them as like enslaved peoples. So it's a really complicated thing because the genies are very powerful, all of them in their own
Yeah.
right, but they are not all evil, not all good.
They usually are more so often. Well, again,
It's hard.
most of the only genie that are usually like more often than not usually like on the more chill good side are the Jinn. Like
Yeah, the rest of them.
the air genies are like they actually like if you look at obviously the stat block, the air Jinn are like literally like chaotic good. I believe is their elemental or their alignment specifically. Whereas every other genie, every like fire, earth, water, they're
They're all
all
evil.
fucking evil. They're
Yeah.
all fucking evil. They all enslave almost every other race they possibly can. Again, like I said, they're tyrannical dictators for the most part. But the Jinn are really like the only ones that are like, hey, you know what? Like, and even, but that's the thing. Even the Jinn, it also has very much to do with kind of their personal culture, right? Where they are very much, like they had established a long time ago that this is the kind of culture and way to live and do all that stuff. but they've learned and they've kind of definitely evolved over the years, eons even. But yeah, with that being the case, let's talk a little bit about the actual mechanics of this subclass. At level 3, you will gain quite an interesting little nugget right here, known as Elemental Smite.
Oh yeah, they've changed them.
Yes.
They're
Immediately
all
after you cast Divine Smite, you can expend one use of your Channel Divinity and invoke one of the following effects. Dow's Crush. Earth rises up around the target of your Divine Smite. The target has the grappled condition, the escape DC being equal to your spell save DC. And while grappled, the target has the restrained condition. So you basically kind of just immobilize them and then literally set up your next attack like at advantage because they're restrained. Genies Escape. You can teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of yourself, as well as take on a semi-incorporeal form, which lasts until the end of your next turn. While in this form, you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, and you have immunity to the grappled, prone, and restrained conditions. That's pretty good. Always nice to have a little bit of a panic button there. Movability, some maneuverability. That's the word, maneuverability. 3, the Ifriti's Fury. I like that. I like the name. I like the sound of that. It rolls off the tongue nicely. The target of your Divine Smite takes an extra 2d4 fire damage, and fire jumps from the target to another creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. The second creature also takes 2d4 fire damage. That ain't too shabby either. I was not expecting that kind of range with that. And finally, the Marid's Surge. The target of your Divine Smite and each creature of your choice in a 10-foot emanation originating from you make a strength saving throw against your spell save DC. On a fail save, a creature is pushed 15 feet straight away from you and has the prone condition. That one's kind of meh.
yeah,
Uh,
but prone is good.
Prone is decent, but also being pushed
It doesn't say
15 feet straight away, like that kind of ruins it because then you have to like run up to them to even capitalize on that
hey, but
prone.
guess what? It doesn't say anything about size.
That's true.
Um,
That is
so
true.
you can get a little bit fucky with that and give yourself
That
advantage
is
by
true.
making somebody prone, even if they're big.
Most of those big creatures are going to have a pretty high strength
Yeah,
save,
yeah,
though, to
well,
be
yeah, yeah.
fair. But sorry, you were saying again about the Divine Smite thing.
Oh no, I was looking at the change for the genies.
Ah, yes.
Hey, guess what? Now, Jin are still kind of good. Everybody else is neutral.
Really?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
not considered
Okay.
evil in the new monster manual.
Interesting.
Now, what a monster's base alignment in the book is
Isn't always,
versus
yep.
versus how you would use a monster in a story.
Hmm.
Those two things are not they're
No,
not
you
equal.
don't all you do not always have to follow it like exactly rules as written. That's the
Yeah.
point.
Um,
Throw your own
it
personal
just
spin on it.
it just means their temperament's a little bit different than it used to be. But the reality is like they're very interesting creatures nonetheless. So it's not
No, it is always again that was the thing too, is that like, with Afridi, the Marids and the Tao, like the Ifrit literally have the one of the most famous and well-known cities in all the cosmos, right? The city of Brass on the elemental plane of fire. It does like exceeding amounts of like it is, think of it like Merchant Prince, right? Like this, the city of Brass is one of the biggest like hub cities, worlds, places for all manner of commerce and purchases and interaction, just experiences, right? And so to be that way, it's like, you should probably kind of be relatively neutral, mostly because that's, a place where a lot of different creatures and beings from the lower planes, like we're talking infernal, fiends and stuff will go there. But even angels or other celestials might also congregate there too. And it's just a very huge, big melting pot, no pun intended. Or was it? Anywho, moving on. At level 3 as well, you gain your genie spells. You get Chromatic Orb, fantastic fucking spell, actually made even better in 2024 or 5.5. You gain Elementalism, the cantrip, which is not as great in my
yeah,
opinion.
but you have a cantrip as a paladin.
That is true. You're not wrong. That is something new. But again, it's pretty underwhelming
It's a
cantrip,
cantrip.
all things considered. Hey, some cantrips are some of the most powerful spells in the game, Sammy, and you know it.
It's a cantrip.
It's blast. Your strike rings with Thunderous Smite because you get Thunderous Smite, you guys, just automatically. Which again, it's not bad, not the worst. And that's just straight up at level 3. So that's pretty fucking good, all things considered. Not too shabby. Level 5, you gain Mirror Image and Phantasmal Force. Mirror Image for a Paladin is kind of fucking nuts, actually. I'm not even gonna lie. That's pretty badass. Phantasmal Force, decent enough, like not too shabby, not the best thing, but definitely has its uses. At level 9, you get Fly, freaking Fly, and Gaseous Form. Again, Gaseous Form, kind of meh, but Fly for a
Dude,
Paladin?
gaseous form is one of those things that like you don't need it until you need it, and if you,
It's true.
it's
It's
always
it's
prepared.
very situational, but you're not wrong that it gives you a decent amount of like flexibility for any of those like very specific niche moments where you maybe need to fit through some cracks or like through like a pipe system or something that you'd have no other way of getting through to escape or whatever. You know what I mean? But moving on again, at level 13, you gain Conjure Minor Elementals and Summon Elemental. Just get some buds, get some friends, some elemental buddies. And finally, at level 17, you gain Banishing Smite and Contact Other Plane. Both of which aren't too shabby. Like Banishing Smite is pretty damn powerful. I'm not gonna lie. Banishing Smite actually is pretty kind of nuts. Contact Other Plane, I think, is a really great like flavor type spell now that they give you. Especially as a paladin, it would be really cool because that way you can literally like contact your quote unquote patron and thing, if you want to. Damn, they really did stack level 3 right away. You get another ability straight up at level 3. This one is called Genie's Splendor. When you aren't wearing any armor, your base armor class equals 10 plus your dex and charisma modifiers. You can use a shield and still gain this benefit. That's nuts, dude. You you just became a monk and a barbarian too with that shit. But also because you're a spellcaster, it also just naturally helps you with your spellcasting too.
I'm
Wow.
For me personally, it's an opportunity to build a Dex
That
Paladin. It's a
that's
Dex Paladin.
that's kind of fucking nuts. Holy
It's a Dex
shit.
Paladin. I love
Holy
the
shit
idea of a Dex
balls.
Paladin. Finally,
I mean,
it's a Dex Paladin.
yeah, it really is because you're not forced. Like again, this only works if you don't wear heavy armor or any armor. Excuse me, any armor at all. So like, yeah, that you can make a Dex Paladin. That's kind of nuts. You don't have to be like all big and clunky and suck at stealth checks. That's Oh, yeah, I might have to do it too. That sounds great. Also, along with this, and you can still use a shield though. You can still use a shield and gain this benefit. Oh my God. Anyway, also along with this, you gain proficiency in one of the following skills, either acrobatics, intimidation, performance, or persuasion. All of those, pretty decent, helpful, you know what I mean? Not too shabby at all. Moving on, at level 7, you gain your aura. Your aura specifically of elemental shielding. Choose one of the following damage types of either acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder, and you and your allies will have resistance to that damage type while in your aura of protection. And for you, that literally means always, except for when you're asleep. That's like the only other time if you're unconscious. But otherwise, you just have resistance now at level 7 to you can change. Okay, yeah, literally at the start of each of your turns, you can change damage type by effect by this to one of the other lists. You can just choose to be resistant to literally 5 different types of damage to like almost every almost every dragon type if you
Yeah,
wanted. That's crazy. That's a kind of insane. You can just choose to be resistant that and not just you, but your friends too. Within they have to be within 10 feet of you at that moment. But god damn though, that's at level 7. Oh my lord. Moving on to level 15, you gain Elemental Rebuke. When you're hit by an attack roll, you can take a reaction to have the attack's damage against yourself rounded down and force the attacker to make a dexterity saving throw against your spell save. On a failed save, the attacker takes damage equal to 2d10 plus your charisma mod. or of one of the following types of damage of your choice: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. And on a successful save, the attacker takes half as much damage. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, a minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Again, that like most of the time, paladins don't have like a lot of reaction type abilities except for just like opportunity attacks a lot of the time. So this right here, getting that you can literally just blast a motherfucker, like you can not only have the damage, like it's any damage. It doesn't specifically say it's just like this elemental damage. It's any damage. And on top of that, you can immediately blast back at them with, again, 6 or 5 different elemental types of damage you want. That's bonkers. And then finally, we have the 20th level capstone subclass ability known as Noble Scion. As a bonus action, you gain the benefits below for 10 minutes or until you end them, no action required. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. You can also restore your use of it by expending a level 5 spell slot. No action required. Flight. You have a fly speed of 60 feet and can hover. Yeah, goddamn. And you gain Minor Wish. When you or an ally in your aura protection fails a D20 test, you can take a reaction to make you or that ally succeed. Okay, that wasn't nearly as good as I thought because I thought it was the same as the Warlock Genie's Minor Wish.
No. But hey,
Like
that means if you miss an attack, you can just make it hit.
yeah, like you can literally save that as the biggest panic button where you're like, oh, it's gonna hit you with like disintegration or like a whatever. I think is power word kill now technically a save now or no? I forget.
I don't actually.
It didn't used to be, but I'm not. I thought maybe they changed it, but I could be wrong about that. I feel like because they changed a number of the power word spells to make them a little less, I guess, kind of busted. But uh, again, so yeah, someone hits you with like a finger of death or some high ass like powerful ability, and there's not really a way for you to succeed. You don't have like a high enough save. You can still just choose to succeed with Minor Wish. You just be like, yeah, I can't make that save. So I'm just going to use a legendary resistance instead. This is just a straight up legendary resistance or even just an immediate just success on anything is really what it is. Again, as a 20th level capstone ability compared to others, probably pretty mid constantly. Like the fly speed is okay. It's not bad. But at that point, like you could have already cast like fly on yourself quite a while at this point. Um, and then yeah, like the minor, like I don't know, like your aura protection already grants you a bonus to your saves, so yeah, definitely not the best. But honestly, with the rest of how stacked this subclass is with the other abilities at low level, we're talking you get like ironically, you arguably get the best stuff at level 3 and 7. That's nuts. You don't really need a badass 20th level capstone ability because you get the best shit almost right fucking away anyway. So it doesn't even really matter that much. But yeah, that in essence is the totality of the new Oath of the Noble Genies Paladin. Thank you very much for coming here. Sam, would you like to take it away for the next topic of the day?
Sure. I am going to be reading our next subclass, which is the Winter Walker Ranger. Ooh.
Ooh.
Winter Walkers hone their craft in the bleak and frozen wilds of places like Icewind Dale. These ruthless rhymed rangers hunt monsters that haunt Arctic wastelands, eventually becoming frigid terrors themselves. Winter Walkers are well versed in the phenomena of Icewind Dale, including the latent magic of fallen Netherese cities, endemic monsters like Yetis and Cragcats, and the rising threat of Underdark invaders. Due to their cold pragmatism, terrifying magic, and mastery of the region, Winter Walkers are regarded with equal parts respect and fear. 10 town citizens say that Winter Walkers' frequent exposure to malignant entities give them their fearsome powers. Many Reghead nomads, on the other hand, believe that nature spirits bestow a unique curse on the Winter Walkers. At level 3, you get Frigid Explorer. You gain the following benefits. Damage from your weapon attacks, ranger spells, and ranger features ignores resistance to cold damage.
Biting cold.
Yeah, frost resistance. You have resistance to cold damage. Polar
Right off the
strikes. When
bat.
you hit a creature with an attack roll using a weapon, you can deal an extra 1d4 cold damage to the target, which can take this extra damage only once per turn. When you reach Ranger level 11, this extra damage increases to 1d6. Level 3, Hunter's Rhyme. Ice rhymes you and your prey, protecting you and hindering them. When you cast Hunter's Mark, you gain temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus your Ranger level. Additionally, while a creature is marked by your Hunter's Mark, it can't take the disengage action.
Yeah,
Um,
again, like not like nothing too overwhelming or crazy, but again, that biting cold and frost resistance alone is pretty fucking cold.
yeah.
Pun definitely did it there.
And then we get their
Subscribe and share the channel.
then we get their Winter Walker spells. Oh, my bad.
Good.
At Ranger level 3, they get Ice Knife.
It's a good spell.
It's a good spell, good spell.
Good spell. It's a good spell. It's a good spell, man.
Like your spells, dude.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of your spells, man. It's a nice spread. It's a nice spell spread right there. You got a nice spell spread. I like it. I like that spell spread.
I hate this. At range level 5, they get Hold Person.
I mean, yeah, like
It's
again
fine.
at 5. I mean, I would say like again, obviously others already get that at like level 3, but like level
Well,
5
but
for a
Rangers,
ranger,
yeah,
Ranger's like half
Rangers not a
caster.
full. They're not a full
Yeah,
caster,
they're
so
half
it's a
caster,
little
and again,
different.
hold person at level 5, like yeah, because you could get if they fail and you're up close and personal, yo, instant crits, bro,
Yep.
just constant instant crits.
They
So
get Remove Curse at Ranger level 9, Ice Storm at Ranger level 13, and Cone of Cold at Ranger level 17.
I mean, yeah, not too shabby. They're not too shabby. Ice Storm and Cone of Cold are pretty powerful spells. It's true.
Um, At level 7, they get Fortifying Soul. Your experience surviving harrowing environments allows you to bolster your allies in addition to yourself. As a magic action, choose a number of creatures you can see equal to your Wisdom modifier. Each chosen creature regains hit points equal to 1d10 plus your Ranger level and has advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the Frightened condition for 1 hour. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Again, it's anyone you can see.
Yeah.
There's no range on it.
And it says a number of creatures equal to your wisdom mod. So like,
Which you should have a decent wisdom. So 3 to 4
yeah.
creatures, but you can just have to see them.
Yeah. And they each gain like 1d10 plus your ranger level at this point, which would be 7. So you can potentially get 17 hit points. Just straight up. And they have advantage on saving throws against frightened.
Yep. Um, Here's a fun one. At level 11, you get Chilling Retribution. When a creature hits you with an attack roll, you can take a reaction to force the creature to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the target has the stun condition until the end of your next turn.
Nice.
While the target is stunned, the speed is reduced to 0 feet. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. We'll take it. We'll
That's
take it.
stuns are always good.
Literally.
Um, and
And
then
it is at the end of your next turn, meaning you can still capitalize on that stun, which is nice. That right there is pretty huge.
yeah. And then you get Frozen Heart at level or Frozen Haunt at level 15. When you cast Hunter's Mark, you can adopt a ghostly snowy form. This form lasts until the spell ends, and while you are in this form, you gain the following benefits. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, until you expend a level 4 plus spell slot. No action required. Frozen Soul. You have immunity to cold damage. When you first adopt this form, and at the start of each of your subsequent turns, each creature of your choice in a 15-foot emanation originating from you takes 2d4 cold damage. Partially incorporeal. You have immunity to the grappled, prone, and restrained conditions. You can move through creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain, but you take 1d10 force damage if you end your turn inside a creature or an object. If the form ends while you're inside a creature, you are shunted to the nearest unoccupied space. This is giving me midline fighter.
Oh yeah, very
This
much
is
so.
giving me dual wielder.
That's what I'm
Fucking
on.
running
Well,
around.
even like the artwork they utilize very much encapsulates and incorporates that. Like he's got, I see like my man's here got like two twin like axes or like size or not size like picks like ice pick looking things
Those are
here.
literally, yeah, those are literal ice picks.
Yeah, like I'm like that.
He's snowboarding on what
I
seems
will
to be
like the
the chitin of some sort of creature.
yeah like hang on a second because once you gain the five. So well, wait, this form lasts. So you get both of these abilities,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say it was like if they only had to choose one, I was like that's kind of
No, it's
mid.
both.
But
It's
you
both.
get both. That's pretty dope as shit because you just become immune to cold damage. Any enemy within like when you first adopt the form, any enemy within 15 foot of your choosing like takes
No,
two
and at the
d4.
start of each of your turns.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Each subsequent turn. So yeah, you just deal passive cold damage to the motherfuckers at that
That
point.
they can't resist.
Yeah, they can't resist it. Like they have to be
And
immune
you
themselves.
can walk through people. You can't be grappled, prone, or restrained.
Yeah, brother, that's
You
pretty
can walk through
good.
terrain.
You're just a ghostly. You're a frozen ghost, bro. You're a
I
frozen ghost.
it's a fun one. It's a fun subclass.
It's a cool looking subclass.
And
I
you
ain't gonna
can
lie. It's
you
very
can
ice based, of course, but you know
and still you can also you can partner this up with the fact that baseline ranger at this point, it has the weapon
they've been
masteries. It
buffed.
has, you know, it they get a lot more expertises and skills than they used to. So like there's some
There's some meat to it. There's some meat on the bone. There's some meat on the bone. Look,
yeah.
I I mean again, let's not sugarcoat it. Rangers were pretty much the ass end of all classes in 2014. Like there was
No.
except for Sorcerer. Sorcerer was the only one that was right down there with them in the fucking, the latrine, bro. Bottom of the latrine were the Ranger and the Sorcerer. But I genuinely believe in the new 2024, both have made a Charlton comeback, as one would say. You know what I'm saying? Like a triumphant comeback. That is impressive. Rangers have been buffed. Sorcerer's been buffed. They're no longer just the absolute fucking butt of every joke of a class in the entire game, almost no matter what subclass you chose. I mean, for Rangers, they at least did still have some decent subclasses here and there. Sorcerers didn't even really have that much, I'll be honest. Like, they had, like, Divine Soul for the most part, and that was about it. And a couple others maybe that were like, okay, kinda. But now they both can if you build them right, they can slap. They can start rumbling with the best of them now. You know what I mean? Because I also brought a lot of the other classes kind of down a peg as well. So it all evens out. It all evens
Yeah,
out.
they brought everyone a little bit closer together.
Yeah, and we like that equality and diversity and versatility. All the T's. We love the T's here at the Arcane Archive, y'all. All right. I do believe that indeed was the totality of the lovely Winter Walker Ranger. Thank you very much, Sammy. You were incredible and fantastic. Really just fucking read it down for us, like right down to the last minute detail. Gotta love it. Oh, nothing but the best here at the archive, y'all. And then finally, we have our last segment for the night, for the evening, for this video, my friends. Arguably, also, this might be one of the most interesting ones. It definitely, I think, caught my eye the most, just in terms of like the more lore slash like flavor implications and capacity. Although it might be a little bit more restricted because of that too. But let me know what you guys kind of think about this. We are now going to start discussing the Scion of the Three Rogue. Become a gruesome agent of malice. A scion of the three draws power from a group of malevolent gods known in Baldur's Gate as the Dead Three. We're talking Bane, the god of tyranny, Baal, the god of violence and murder, and finally, Merkel, the god of death. Now, while some rogues of this subclass pledge themselves ardently to those three macabre gods, others are thrust on this path by a curse rather unwittingly. Either way, a scion's power manifests as various occult gifts as well as an uncanny talent for striking and terrifying their foes. Scions of the Three are most common in Baldur's Gate, where the dead three lived as mortals before ascending to godhood. Underground cults to Bane, Baal, and Merkel often count Scions of the Three among their most useful agents. Now, outside Baldur's Gate, secular thieves guilds such as the Shadow Thieves of Amn or the Xanathar Guild in Waterdeep might also call on a Scion of the Three to undertake an especially violent contract. Now, obviously, this is going to be a slight little itty bitty spoilers for Baldur's Gate 3. Um, or just Baldur's Gate in general and stuff. But again, for those of you who might not be as aware and conscious, I thought we did do a video on gods, didn't we? I don't know if we did like a super in-depth one, but I know we like kind of
Uh,
we did like a little bit of like
we
slight.
did like a didn't we do a Pantheons video at one
Yeah,
point?
I believe we did like a Pantheons video and we kind of like went into a little bit of the more like well-known and like maybe famous gods and stuff. But okay, for those of you who are not maybe in the know, uh, the Dead Three, as they are so colloquially known as and named, as it just said, are the gods Bane, Baal, and Merkel. They are some of the three most infamous entities and individuals in the stories and tales of the Forgotten Realms. For a long time, they were like some of the most like prime antagonists of the Forgotten Realms. You know what I mean? Everybody hated them, everybody knew them, and they were usually the ones who were like kind of up to no good. They were the ones that were primarily like some of the biggest causes, if not the primary causes, of an event known as the Spell Plague in the Forgotten Realms, where literally like all magic, like not just all magic, I should say. I should say actually it was what was it? The Spell Plague happened after that. Excuse me. Um, it wasn't the spell plague. They were specifically the causes of the time of great struggle. That's what I believe. The time of struggles, where basically like every god was banished to the mortal realm by the overgod Ao, because of some stupid fucked up shenanigans that Bane and Merkel were up to. I believe. I believe it was the two of them. It may have been Bane and Ball. But they essentially try to like steal these tablets of fate or whatever to basically start like rewriting the fabric of reality in their own image. Ao caught them with their hand in the cookie jar and was like, "All right, you guys are pissing me off. You're not doing your fucking jobs like you need to. So all the gods are now being banished to the mortal realm in mortal form to get some character. So basically, like Odin a la Thor. You know what I mean? Kind of banishing them to get their heads out of their asses. Um, so that gives you a little bit of an idea, right? The fact that they were the cause of that, how influential and kind of fucked up these guys are. And for those of you who've played Baldur's Gate 3, probably have even more of a personal understanding of the effects of these three. Specifically, even Baal himself. But let's continue on now to the actual meat of the subclass, the mechanics, as it were. Level 3, you gain an ability known as Bloodthirst. When an enemy you can see within 30 feet of yourself takes damage and is bloodied after taking that damage but not killed outright, you can take a reaction and teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 5 feet of that enemy. You can then make one melee attack. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, a minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So essentially, at any point when a creature has half of its hit points or fewer remaining, you can essentially just teleport as a reaction and attack them immediately. So basically, ironically, which is really cool too, is that this is a mechanical way to be able to actually tell when an enemy has been bloodied. Like your and
Yeah.
your and your GM will have to be like, yeah, no, it is blood. It is a literal confirmation of their current hit points, which is very fascinating. You don't get many abilities that allow you to kind of do that, especially in the heat of battle itself. That's pretty cool. Another ability that they get is at level 3 is Dread Allegiance. Choose one of the dead three, Bane, Baal, or Merkel. You gain resistance to one type of damage and the ability to cast a cantrip as detailed in the table below, and Intelligence will be your spellcasting ability for this cantrip. When you finish a long rest, you may always change your choice to the other of the two, or other of the three. With Bane, you will get resistance to psychic damage and the minor illusion cantrip. With Baal, you gain resistance to poison damage and the Blade Ward cantrip. And with Merkel, you gain resistance to necrotic damage and the Chill Touch cantrip. Merkel is clearly just objectively the best out of all of those. But the
Are you
other
trying to tell me
three,
that Blade Ward and Minor Illusion aren't as good as Chill Touch?
I mean, Minor Illusion is pretty cool. It's fun. Like, if we're talking just like from uh, a flavor perspective or kind of point, or maybe like a social situation. But, psychic damage is only going to be ever exceedingly situational for very specific types of enemies. Poison damage also, ironically, doesn't happen a ton unless it's very specific. And Blade War itself is pretty garbage for the most part, unfortunately. So you're never really going to want to use it. Although, to be fair, the new Blade Ward, I guess, is maybe slightly better because it's a concentration spell. It lasts for a minute, and it basically just subtracts a D4 from the attack. So it basically like you put a bane on somebody who tries to attack you. You know, so yeah,
No.
eh,
What is
eh,
cool
eh.
to me with this Bloodthirst ability. Also, well, you get resistance to damage as part of Dread Allegiance. That's great. Um, Bloodthirst gives you a very interesting combo, which is if you have another person in melee, you can, as a reaction, not on your turn, teleport behind someone, flank them,
Get
hit them with advantage, and get sneak attack
yeah,
not on your
yeah.
turn.
Mm.
And that is fucking awesome.
Obviously, it very much depends if your table utilizes the flanking rule for that. But regardless, but to be fair, you will always technically get your sneak attack if
If
your
someone's within
friend
5 feet.
is within 5 feet. Yes, this is also true as well.
It's just,
And as with the new
well,
rogue, you get really cool bonus other things you can do with your sneak attack. So you could absolutely do this not on your turn. Although, to be fair, I guess it would also depend. I think you can still only use sneak attack once per turn.
once per
So,
turn, which
yeah,
your reaction not on your turn does not count as your turn.
you're right. It doesn't say round, right? It specifically says once per turn.
So
We'll have
you
to
can
check that to be
technically
sure.
from what I understand, you can
I'm
use
gonna look this
your
up
sneak
just to be
attack
sure.
on someone else's turn. As
That,
long as you don't do
yeah.
it twice on your turn.
Like let's check this just to be certain because that absolutely would be fucking phenomenal real quick.
At least if I was DMing, I would allow it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Let's see. Where you at? Where
You
you
didn't
at?
notice
Where
me go
you at?
like this.
Yeah, right? Like explain. Yeah, he is correct in DD do. It is once
What's up?
per
It's your
turn.
boy, guy who reads
Once
too much
per
online.
turn. Indeed, it is once per turn. Therefore, if your turn already passed and you already used your sneak attack, you can definitely, with this, utilize it again as your reaction. At least from what I saw, doesn't seem to be anything that specifically stipulates that you can't. So, fucking A. That's what we like to see. Moving on, at level 9, you get the ability known as Strike Fear. You gain a following cunning action option, or cunning strike option, excuse me. Terrify. It costs one of your d6s from your sneak attack. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or it has the frightened condition for 1 minute. And while the target is frightened this way, you have advantage on attack rolls against the target. The frightened target repeats the save at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. That's pretty mid. Like, not the worst, but kind of, again, because frightened, like, wisdom saving throw, they're immune to frightened, doesn't really work. And it's like, what, disadvantage attack rolls? Yeah, it's like, it'd be nice, and you have advantage on it, so, it's nice. But a level 9 ability, like, level 13 will be known as Aura of Malevolence. You radiate malignant power associated with one of the dead three. When you use Bloodthirst and Teleport, each creature of your choice within 10 feet of either the space you left or your destination space, your choice, takes damage equal to your intelligence modifier. The damage type is the same as the damage resistance granted by your choice in the Dread Allegiance feature. Damage dealt by this feature ignores resistance. Okay, again,
It's tick damage, but still.
it's not bad. Because luckily, too, I will say, luckily, it does specifically stipulate each creature of your choice, meaning you don't automatically have to hit your friends if you do this. And obviously, it very much depends on whatever type or whatever of the three gods you are currently like having an allegiance to at the time, it's just a little extra fucking damage. You know, a turn or per round, I should say, because at this point it does take a reaction to use your bloodthirst and teleport. But and it's your intelligence modifier, so this does make you probably want to increase your intelligence. To be fair, for this to have really much of anything, because obviously, the highest it'll probably ever get might be like a 3 or 4, maybe 5 at the absolute maximum. But it ignores resistance, which is one thing. So it's like, if a creature is resistant to any of the damage or the type that you have resistance to yourself, you ignore that, which isn't too shabby. Um, it's just a little extra, I guess. Again, honestly, I'll be honest, it is a pretty nah. It is a pretty weak level 13 ability of all things. Um, but it's not horrible. It's just it's a pretty passive just boost to a thing you'll be doing constantly anyway. If you're doing it right. Moving on to the final capstone ability of this subclass specifically, level 17, you gain the ability known as Dread Incarnate. You gain the following benefits. Cutthroat. You regain 1 expended use of Bloodthirst when you finish a short rest. Okay. And you gain Murderous Intent. When you roll for your sneak attack damage, you can treat a roll of a 1 or a 2 on the die as a 3. That, ironically, is, despite the fact it seems very underwhelming, that's
No,
actually
it's
kind of
huge.
busted. That's like
It's
that literally guarantees you'll never get lower than average on your sneak attack damage. You will never get below just straight average. It's
so for
impossible.
the
Like,
for
even
the for
if
the
you rolled,
argument for the argument of this, you're a level 20 rogue. You
or
could roll.
17 at the lowest here,
So
obviously.
at 17, you have 9d6, which
Yep.
means you could roll 9 ones.
But they would all
In
immediately
theory,
turn, in
to
theory,
9
at the
threes.
absolute worst, it would be 9 1s, which would just
So
be 9
it
damage.
takes your absolute worst
But you get
from
27
from
from
9 to
9 to
27.
27 at minimum.
That's pretty fucking good, dude.
Minimum. Okay?
And
That
it also
again,
means if you crit
even twos. And again, the likelihood of that is even with twos, right? So even ones or two, you can't get below
at
27,
27,
which is still that's a decent chunk of fucking damage.
and
Like
it
no matter
matters.
who you are, no matter
It
who you
matters
are.
because it means you like if you crit, you're also hitting a good minimum.
Yeah, you would get 54 points of damage minimum from a crit. Minimum. Like that, like
You're gonna be the most consistent.
yeah, at least at level 17, like your sneak attack is always gonna kind of slap. Like it's always gonna kind of fuck some shit up no matter what. It just doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't matter. That like again, it seems very underwhelming, but it's actually just it's pretty ridiculous, which is nice because yeah, cutthroat is pretty underwhelming. It's like okay, you get fucking the because what is it? So it's like, yeah, if number of features equal to your intelligence modifier. So you want to get your intelligence mod up because it also affects your bloodthirst. So your intelligence modifier is what gives you the amount of bloodthirst that you can utilize. But then this obviously just gives you the ability to get that back. You get 1 expended use back. So if you use your bloodthirst like 3 times, which you could only do if you have 3 separate enemies, to be fair, you would then still technically get 1 expended use back. Because that is the one drawback of Bloodthirst, is that you can only use it once per enemy. You can only use it on an enemy 1 time, unless, of course, they're able to heal. Which at that point, technically, you could use it because they would get bloodied again. But again, overall, not too shabby at all. But that would be the totality of not just the Scion of the 3 Rogue, but all of the 4 subclasses that we want to talk to you about today. Sammy, what would be your Arcane Archive rating for these new, quote unquote, new subclasses that we have seen here today, my friend?
I was.
And which one would be your favorite among the ones we've talked about so far?
I mean that paladin.
Oath of the Noble Genies
That
is
paladin is really good.
he's pretty stacked. He's looking pretty fucking
Yeah.
fit,
I
man.
would say like the paladin's like an 8.59. The rest of them are 7.75.
I mean, dude, that Winter Walker Ranger is also pretty fucking sick. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Right off the bat at level 3, you get resistance to cold damage. Your attacks can ignore cold resistance itself, and you get an inbuilt cold damage thing on top of that. Like, right away, you know what you're building. Like, you're just building a straight cold damage dealer at that point. Like, none of doesn't anything that you get, you're like, yo, can I get this with cold damage? Can I find a weapon or a thing with cold damage? Can I get some more cold damage? Just give me some cold damage, bro. I want some more cold damage, please. Like, just doesn't matter. I will say, obviously, to be fair, even though you do have resistance to cold damage, unless you are literally in a frigid environment, it is highly unlikely you're going to be fighting anything that deals cold damage. Cold damage is exceedingly situational to very specific areas. It is just not common to have monsters that are not in very frigid, cold environments that deal cold damage just naturally. Unless, of course, there are some undead that do that. That is kind of that's why also they have like the hunter them or the ranger themselves also has the whole kind of motif of being like a frozen ghost because ghosts do often kind of have that like essence of cold. um but it's still a badass. You just have that shit now, so that means you just got that. You can start doing other things. Like, there are plenty of spells though that definitely do cold damage, so it's like that's still helpful in regards to that. um but yeah, I would definitely say, yeah, I think I would go along with you. I think all of them are really cool and fun for sure. They have a lot of cool, dope, both like mechanical as well as like flavor added to them for any kind of campaign you're trying to get into. But I would agree. I'm thinking that that Oath of the Noble Genies Paladin, that shit right there is fuck. They cooked with this shit right here, my man. This shit is kind of nutter butters. Uh, again, just that level 3 alone, dude, with the genie spells and the genie splendor. That genie splendor right there, that got me feeling a bit different, my man. That got me feeling a bit different. I can't even lie. That shit right there, you're just like, brother, a dexterity based rogue? Are we serious right now? Like, are we fucking serious with this shit, dude? Oh my God. Oh my God. Because that's the one thing too about like, because you can also technically use a shield if you want, but you could, hear me out, you could also use a dual wielding paladin. You could do a dual wield paladin if you really wanted to. And ooh, God. I would say, yeah, overall, I agree. I think all of them. I think the Banneret, especially compared to the Purple Dragon Knight, I'm gonna give the Banneret Knight probably like a rating of 6, maybe 7 out of 10, depending. Like, it has some decent flavor as well as like some really cool like it's clearly obviously based in supporting your team, right? It gives you the ability to literally be a support fighter to a certain extent, Not a lot, but a decent amount, which I ain't mad at. I ain't mad at. So probably like a 6 or 7 for that one. Definitely for the Oath of the Noble Genies, that got to be like an 8 or 9, I would say total. Overall, that level 20 ability leaves a lot to be desired, to be fair, since it literally is your 20th level capstone. But I get it. So 8 or 9. Winter Walker, I would say probably similar thing, like probably like a 7 to maybe 9 potentially. Pretty badass for all the shit. And then Scion of the 3, I'd probably give it like around probably a 7. I think I give it probably like a solid 7 for the Scion. Um, but I do believe that's all we've got for y'all today. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed, if you stuck with us this long, tell us what you guys think of these 4 subclasses that we talked about today. Which one was your favorite? Which one do you want to use the most in one of your games? Tell us a little bit about it, and we'll be sure to catch you then. As always, please do subscribe, share, like, and comment down below. Hit the notification bell. And we will be sure to catch y'all next time when we dive back down into the archive. Nighty night, everybody.
See you guys.
Ooh, buddy, feeling different.